Hello, welcome to the Greek Gastronomy Festival at the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, the School of Hotel and Tourism Management. We are starting this process with some videos with the master chefs, Greek chefs who have been around the world and they have been doing fantastic things. Our first guest is Tony Kavalieros, who is currently in Maryland, the United States, and it's great to have you with us, Tony. You're our first chef. To interview.
I hope I'm lucky.
I hope so. Tell us how you end up being a chef. What bring you into the gastronomy?
Well, I didn't have
the Greek gastronomy in particular.
Okay, I didn't have much choice for the Greek gastronomy. I'm Greek, so this is my own gastronomy, my own food. So I love it, and I like to promote it. But I became a chef. I was born into a family where my grandfather was a chef. It was in Cairo, Egypt. He was an immigrant from Greece to Egypt. He was working there as a chef. He had a very successful restaurant for 47 years. So that's all I wanted to do. I moved to Athens to do my Greek schooling, and then I went to study at the Hotel and Restaurant School in South Africa, in Johannesburg, where I lived there afterwards 20 years, always in the restaurants, back to Greece, and here in the States now, 48 years later, always in the restaurant business, always in the food business. I'm a teacher, I am a consulting person. I go around helping people, especially here in the States, to teach the cooks how to cook Greek, because the Greek restaurants here, they don't always have Greek cooks. They don't always have Greek chefs. So it is very difficult to teach somebody that doesn't have the culture, the Greek food. So that's what I'm doing right now. The Greek food, to what we know out there, it is completely different. When you go to Greece and you go and search the islands and the villages and to see the real Greek food is completely different than what people know.
I keep saying that to Jonathan. Jonathan Sutton is my good friend and colleague here in PolyU.
So, yeah, I wanted to kind of ask you, you've always wanted to be a chef. Have you had any periods of time where that's diminished a little bit, maybe become less motivated to be a chef? And how have you kind of remotivated yourself?
Yes, that was a year and a half ago when they stopped us from the restaurant, because of COVID.
Yep.
And I thought, that's it. Now it's time to hang my apron and I'll do something else. So I went into the video recording. I went to do my channel on YouTube, where I'm going around Greece recording the real Greek culture. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing the same thing, but with a different media. Okay. Because I'm getting old. I can't stand, 10 and 12 hours in the kitchen anymore. So that came out nice.
The video series is fantastic, and it's kind of, you bring so much wonderful talent forward, and we are very grateful to you because you have donated some of the videos yourself and also Philippos Bandis that we're going to interview later today and a couple of others. Thank you so much, Tony.
Pleasure.
So I'd like to ask about, the learning process of being a chef. So, you've been a chef for a long period of time, and you've gone to many different parts of the world. Some of it has been, family pool stuff, which has brought you to Egypt. How do you continue learning as a chef yourself? What would be your go-to kind of things to continue to learn?
You never stop learning.
Yeah.
I said that, so many times, especially this year. I went to Greece, to do the filming of my videos. And I went to Crete in Scythia. And I've seen things and tasted ingredients that I have never tasted in my life before. And I'm not talking about ingredients, foreign ingredients to me, like if I had to come to China or if I go to Japan or if I go somewhere else. I'm talking about my own country, and there were ingredients that I didn't even know. And there were techniques that I saw from simple women and men cooking at home That's, this is what gives us the techniques to change them and modernize them and go and do the cooking that we do in
So
the
it kind of
restaurants.
continues to stimulate you and make you kind of, look to further your skills and things like that. That's really cool. If we go on to maybe looking at Greek cuisine and why it's so special. And I'm not from Greece, but I know that you're surrounded by a number of heavyweight kind of nations, I guess, which have their own very strong cuisine bases. What is unique or different about Greek cuisine? And how does that stand out amongst those other neighboring countries?
First of all, I will say the simplicity. The real Greek food is simple. Second is we have fresh ingredients. We use fresh ingredients, and we use ingredients that we find around us. We don't import other ingredients. That's why you see the Greek food, unless you are a Greek that came from Minor Asia or from Egypt or from elsewhere, we don't have spices. We only got herbs. We don't use many big animals in our food, in our menu. We use small animals. We don't use a lot of meat. We have a lot of fish.
Yeah.
We have a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
This is what makes Greek food. And another thing, that is fantastic is that we use so much salt and our food is still not salty. I think it's the whole culture of the food that makes the food different.
And I think a lot of people don't realize is that I think someone was telling me there is no place in Greece that is more than 60 or 70 kilometers away from the sea.
Okay.
So you've got
That's
a lot
right.
of seafood
Yeah.
apart from the islands. Also on the mainland, you've got a lot of seafood that is very easily accessible.
Right.
But also you've got a very fertile land that is actually
Right.
producing different things.
Yeah. So simplicity of the ingredients. Are there any particular key ingredients that you'd say are very iconic to Greek cuisine? Olives.
Yeah, okay. Olives. You see, olives and fruit like figs and nuts and some other vegetables. It is something that we used to have right back, in the history of Greek cuisine. Now, the rest that you see today, lemon. I mean, there is no food, in Greece without lemons. There is no food in Greece almost without tomato. These things, they came after the 1800s. We didn't have them. We didn't have potatoes. We didn't have. Greek cuisine was very poor right up to the 1800s. It changed afterwards. And before that, most of the recipes that we find in the Greek cuisine, they came from the Byzantine times.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not really Greek, but it is, they came from the Byzantines because it was a mixture of people there. But when it comes to cooking with olive oil, cooking with honey, cooking with greens, that you find wild on the mountains in the valleys of the Greek valleys, we had it, from the ancient times.
Tony, I'd like to thank you because I keep saying to everybody that Greek food is about lemon or tomato, one of the two. But I think the most important thing at the end is oregano.
Okay.
So 30 years ago, when I started traveling, my auntie came along and she gave me a bag of oregano. She said, I don't know what you'll do, but this you'll need. And it's very light. So I remember putting them in my suitcase. And ever since, whenever I was going back to Greece, the first thing I will get is oregano. A kilo of oregano will see you for 6 months.
I wanted to kind of find out about when you did travel to places or live in places like South Africa. Were there ingredients that you kind of reminded you or inspired you of kind of Greek food? Could you see any kind of crossover with any of those places? And similarly with Egypt as well?
Yeah, look, Egypt, Greek food, Egypt, South Africa, it's three different completely cuisines, and like it is something completely different here in America. But in South Africa, I could find easier Mediterranean ingredients to cook with because, if you see South Africa is right down the same line with the Mediterranean. So you come to Cape Town, there might be different seasons, but they do have olives, they have beautiful wines, they've got good ingredients, they have fruit and vegetable. But the South African cuisine is completely different, completely different. It is a beautiful fusion of the Portuguese from Mozambique with Italians and Greeks and Germans and Dutch, everybody that came to live in South Africa, and that made a fantastic cuisine because they've got incredible ingredients right through the season. You can have 4 seasons in South Africa in the same day. So, yeah, I didn't have problem cooking Greek food in South Africa. I have more problems here. I cannot find the ingredients that I need. But the South Africa, in Egypt, it was completely different again, because the Egyptian cuisine is completely different to ours. But all the ingredients that I find in Greece, I could find in Egypt.
Right. Okay, very interesting.
Tony, I noticed that you are cooking Spanakopita later on when we play your video. Spanakopita is one of these things that, spinach pie, it's one of these things that you can almost find the ingredients anywhere. Here in Hong Kong, you find spinach everywhere. You can find leek, and you can find most of the things. I think Greek olive oil, we are working on it. There is some supply here. Tell us about Spanakopita a little bit so you can introduce your dish later on.
Yes, Spanakopita, you see, our pies, this is what it is 100% Greek. The pies that we make in Greece, any pies, spinach, is one of them because it's easy. You can find spinach maybe sometimes, right through the year. But our pies, it's something that it is always been number one in Greece. The filo pastry, we might be using it, a lot in the Greek cuisine, but it's not Greek. I mean, the Italians perfected actually the filo pastry in the Byzantine times. It's very popular in Greece. If you go into the mainland, you'll see that they make the pies opening the dough by themselves. They make the filo by themselves. But that is a pie. It is a full of nutrition. It has the cheese. You can do it without the cheese if you want to make it vegan, for example. Okay, but it is a vegetarian dish. It is full of nutrition for a young person or for the whole family. It is easy. That's why I actually had my nephew, Yanni, to teach him how to make the Spanakopita and to show that it's easy. It is, you just need to do a few simple steps and you can make a beautiful Spanakopita. But it is, I think it's a lovely dish where you can do it everywhere.
So I'd like to ask you kind of like one kind of wrapping up question about the future of Greek cuisine. And I'd like to hear from you where you feel Greek cuisine is going.
You're going to hear a lot about the Greek cuisine in the future. We have incredible young chefs that they searching, that they respect the Greek cuisine and the Greek techniques, of cooking, because not only the cuisine, the cuisine is techniques. And you're going to see a lot, because all these youngsters, they're going to come up with incredible things if they don't start mixing other, make it fusion. Greek is not fusion, Greek is Greek. So we have to keep it simple. We have to keep it tasty. And you'll hear a lot about the Greek cuisine in the future. I'm sure about it. There's many youngsters that they have learned a lot of things and they're ready to come out in the market and showcase, the Greek cuisine.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Tony. I'll say kalimera in the big sense of the world. Have a good day. And thank you very much for contributing to the Greek Gastronomy and Diet Festival in Hong Kong Polytechnic University.
Always here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Joe. Nice meeting you. Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to make Spanakopita. Yanni is a university student. He lives away from home. So he asked me for the recipe and an easy way to make Spanakopita. Now, you'll find thousands, hundreds of recipes for Spanakopita. They're all good. They're all right. Not one of them is wrong. We're going to use beautiful fresh ingredients. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. Okay, so this is Yanni. Okay, Yanni is going to do all the cooking today. I'm gonna just give the ordering. All right, so the instructions. So first things first, we have the leeks that we have to chop and saute until they're soft, and together with the onion. This is the only thing that we're going to saute. The leeks, they really have a lot of in them, sand, dirt, so make sure that we wash them properly. So the way to do this is first we cut them. And you wash very well. In goes the leeks and the onions. Okay, Yanni, we have all the herbs.
Yep.
The more herbs you have, the better it is. Okay, so now the next thing you do is put in this bowl some of the spinach. We're going to do the whole spinach like that. A little bit of salt, and then with your hands you start squeezing. Okay. All right, this is what you need. And now we're gonna do this one by one. The filo. Don't be stingy with your oil and butter. This is what's gonna make it nice and crispy. You take this and put one in like that, a little bit stick out on the side here. We fold this inside. It is tucked in and ready to go into the refrigerator for at least 20 minutes before we put the egg wash, the sesame, and send it into the oven. Egg wash. Now we have to score it so all the humidity will come out while it's cooking. All right, I'm waiting for your orders.